Flavors by Transparent Labs for their protein bars. We got this oatmeal chocolate chip that we're having this morning. They also have like this dark chocolate almond one. Personally, I don't really like anything with nuts in my candy bars. I never really eat candy bars, protein bars, anything like that. So it's not as good as this one. It's still good. It's just, yeah, not for me. I don't really like nuts in my thing. Pause. I have a protein bar and an apple for breakfast. I recently switched things up this morning. Like normally I would have had my eggs and stuff, and it was funny because in a recent video I made on YouTube, actually, I was talking about my meal prep and like why I have breakfast first thing in the morning. But in that video I was saying that I will make breakfast in the morning and meal prep everything else, because in the morning, like my brain isn't fully like functioning. It's not firing on all cylinders. And so breakfast kind of gets me to wake up. Then I was like, I need to reduce the amount of time in the morning that it takes me from waking up to getting to the gym to getting to working on stuff. So I was like, I need to have my protein bar right in the morning, and then we'll start having breakfast for dinner and just take a little break to make something then, just so that I can get working on things quicker. And so that's why we're having this morning. I don't know, I haven't noticed a difference in my training really at all so far. I just like that now I can get to the gym a lot faster rather than, you know, taking forever to make breakfast and stuff. This morning we got a workout. We're gonna do some shoulders this morning, and then we also have PT right afterward. So it's gonna be a good morning full of just working out.
Dang, Rory worked out his thumbs more than his shoulders. Dude, in 4K? Look at those thumbs, dude. Them thumbs were strong. Oh, nothing to say.
I just thought thumbs, but you do it with
What does that even mean?
I'm blocking that out of there.
Didn't you try and... Now you're gonna have to put a song over this?
I might fucking leave it in here.
Then the sure is not gonna allow her over at the cabin. Some preseason scouting. Check our game cameras. At 40?
Was it light?
Heavy as fuck. I didn't come.
Yeah, I don't know if I could. I only did like six reps, if I'm being completely honest. That's heavy. That push.
Finished up physical therapy a few hours ago, went pretty well. I think that, or at least I hope that they up the intensity of the workouts over the next couple weeks, just because these workouts were pretty easy, but they were probably easy because I've been doing very similar workouts every single Wednesday for like the past 2 months. And so my body's probably just gotten used to some of these workouts because I kind of had an idea of the workouts that I would need to do. in order for my hip to basically heal itself. One thing I was missing was more so the back workouts and some of the back work that we're doing right now, but I was really focused on my glute medius, which was one of the muscle groups, or is one of the muscle groups we're currently working on. But we're about to go for a run. I can go for light runs now, just very light, like nothing insane, like 10-minute per mile pace. So that's kind of what we're aiming for. Maybe a little less than that, maybe like something like 9 minutes, 30 seconds. But yeah, I'm a little bit of a lull today. I have been these last couple days. There's a lot on my mind, and I kind of talked about it in a previous video, not too much in depth. Basically, to kind of sum it up, I have a problem with like focusing in too many areas in a day, and it just leads to like a lot of like tiredness and stuff. Like Jordan Peterson broke it down really good on a video he actually recently posted. If you guys haven't watched it, I strongly suggest you guys go watch it. But he's basically just saying like, when you have like a plan, right? Like if you're walking up onto like a stage and then something gets in your way, your brain like kind of has like this reaction, like what the heck's going on? Like we need to revert the plan. And if things keep changing your plans and everything, then you kind of feel like, holy crap, I'm all over the place. And that's just what's been happening, to be honest. Like there's just things going on in my personal life. I'm just like, dude, what is going on? So I don't know, but hopefully this run helps with it, because yeah, I hate being in a hole. And that's where we wrap it up today. I probably would have gone for 3, but Ezra's got a fight like in probably about a little less than an hour. So got to go to that. So I got to get ready, shower up right quick, head out of here. Whew. I slammed a coffee right before doing this Q&A, and it hasn't worked worth a damn. I think I'm just so exhausted today, and it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? But today's video, I wanted to do a Q&A and just kind of get you guys to ask me questions. I feel like it's been a long time since I had done one, so I was like, screw it, let's just do one, see what you guys got for me, you know, because every once in a while someone new comes onto the channel, and I think it's nice to open up questions for you guys to ask me to get to know me a little more. And I feel like your guys' questions also helps me to get to know you guys more based off the questions you guys ask. So yeah, that's pretty sick. So let's get on into it. First question is from Arnell. Rory and I were talking about this last time. What's your take on these people hating in general though? It's kind of a 2-part question. So for people who are hating on social media, I wouldn't even necessarily call it hate, I would just call it insecurity, because people who are hating on someone for doing something good, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why would you hate on someone who's doing a good thing? Like, for example, if I go on and post something, you know, even like this video, like, why would someone hate? It's not like I did anything that was harmful. It's not like I was preaching something false, right? It just wouldn't make sense. And a lot of the time I think I see it as people just trying to preserve their ego and preserve themselves because they feel bad about themselves, and by commenting that, it just makes their ego feel better and kind of make them feel safe, I guess. But hate in general, because I don't really see that as hate per se, because hate is a really nasty emotion. So people who are hateful in general, they need to find a way to forgive other people, whether it's forgiveness of themselves or forgiveness of other people. They just need to find out how to forgive. All right, next question. Are you settled in your new place now? Yes. Everything is pretty much settled. There's like a couple things that might need to like move and go, but I think everything is pretty much settled. There's a couple things that might need to be updated, but it's nothing that is not settled. Now, Dakota's question is probably gonna be the hardest question that I probably have to answer today, and it is favorite Bible story. And the reason it's difficult is because I can't remember the entirety of the story, but it's the story of Joseph. So if I can remember this correctly, if you guys don't know about this story, so Joseph has a dream or a vision that God gives him for the plan for his life. And the plan is basically, you're gonna be a ruler of nations, right? Or a nation. And Joseph's like, awesome, this is great. But then his brothers, right, have jealousy toward him because Joseph is supposedly favorited by his dad. And so they're like, all right, we're gonna get rid of this dude and tell dad like he's gone, right? So they cast him into a pit and go and tell his dad like, hey dad, you know, he didn't make it, he's dead, yada, 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 right? Well, Joseph ends up, I think, arriving in Egypt, and one of the ladies there lies to someone in charge and is like, oh, Joseph's trying to have like an intimate relationship with me, yada, 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 right? And then Joseph gets put into jail where he becomes like a slave for 11 years. But then he helps Pharaoh with like a dream or a vision that he had. And after that, Pharaoh basically uplifts him and he becomes like his second-hand man. And then somehow, again, I can't remember the entire story, Joseph ends up as like the leader of the nation or something like that. And basically God's vision for him came true, but there was so much crap in between there that led to that happening. And basically the moral of the story here is that if, you know, you think that God has this vision for your life that you think he put in your heart, yeah, it'll probably come true, but probably not the way that you thought it would. So you can't be shocked or surprised. You have to be faithful to what God is doing in your life, even if it might not make sense, even if it's as bad as that. And I love that story. So that's it. Isaiah Fee asked, favorite gym fit? So it's gotta be like, I love wearing like a black pair of shorts with the Kill Bill tank with the bear. I'll actually post a photo of it. I wore it like last week. Love it just because like I can tuck in the tank and it looks like pretty old school-esque and it just has a really sick look to it. Sam asked, how can you get into lifting again after you've been out of it? Just the same way that you got into it, man. Start slow and build your base and your way back into it. It'll probably happen a lot faster because your muscles have a memory. And so when it gets back into it, it'll be like, I know what to do. Next question is, if you could meet anyone at any point in time, who would it be? I think younger me, honestly. I think 21-year-old me, I was going through some really rough stuff mentally. I think from time to time I still do, but I think that 21-year-old me caused that to happen to me in my current self. Not as bad as it once was, but I think I wish I could go back and sit down with my 21-year-old self and kind of help him with his problems before making things sort of worse, right? Who are your idols? I don't really have any. So I actually have a story. I met my idol once, and after that encounter, I just realized like there is no one else to idol other than Jesus Christ, because Jesus, first off, is who we should all strive to be like, right? Like that should be in and of itself. But it's also because I realized when I made other people my idols, whenever I met them, it was always such a big disappointment, right? And I think it's because we have this expectation of people because they'll show us like the best of themselves or do this or do that, and then you meet them and you don't have that encounter. And I'm not saying that, you know, everyone has a bad day every once in a while, but when I met mine, it was just a very discouraging event, and I can remember it so clearly to this day. So that's that. Elijah, do you think you beat Elijah Miller in a wrestling match?
Brother.
Yes. Alvin asked, what's your ideal body weight? Where are you comfortable with image? Where are you comfortable with image? Image, okay. I like to be at like 170, 168 because I'll like be somewhat lean, but I also kind of like feel light enough, but I'm also still strong enough. Like it's like the perfect physique. It's like the perfect everything. Like I just feel amazing at that weight, but it's hard to maintain because, you know, It just is. And right now I'm maintaining it, and it actually hasn't been that hard. I think it was just harder to maintain when I was at my parents' house because they'd have random food laying around and I'd be like, oh, what's that? Ooh, let me eat it. My brother asked, through all of your bad days, what tools or methods did you use to keep your faith intact? So this is actually something that I struggle with the most because it's hard to understand why certain things are happening to you in life, right? You know, you'll be trying to do something, you know, whether it's good, whether it's to advance yourself, whatever it is, right? Or you're just trying to work towards something and something gets in the way, right? And it can be really annoying, or something just happens in your life and you're like, what the hell is going on? And for me, I go and talk to other people. I think that that's why community or communion is so important, and it lists it so many times in the Bible, because when we talk to someone, it can allow us to have another person tell us their perspective on what we're going through, and also just helps to voice out what we're saying, so maybe we get a different perspective. Because I think it's easy when you're in your head to kind of twist things around and make it sound much worse than it is, or just not allow the emotion to get out, you know, if you're, you know, spinning on it. So I talk to people whenever I'm going through something. You know, I try to pray as much as I can, but I kind of feel like whenever I end up in prayer, I end up just not really talking to God, but like myself. How's the move-in going? How far are you from your parents? Do you see them often? The move-in went great. I see my parents pretty often. I mean, they're 15 minutes up the road. It's really not that bad at all. I see them often because in the evening, I don't really have anyone to be around. And I do have like a stoppage on my work. You know, like 5:36 is kind of like the cutoff for me. And so then I'll eat dinner and then I'm just kind of sitting there like, damn, I don't really want to watch a movie. I don't really want to do this or do that. And so I kind of sit there like, shit, well, I'll go to my parents, you know. I want to be around people and talk to someone. So I'll see them pretty often, probably like 3-4 times a week. Looks like the clouds came on rolling in for the final question from Bob. So Bob asked, what college degree did you earn, and do you see it being of any use to you? So I got some answers for you, Bob. So I got a business management degree, and I don't see it being of any use to me because of my experience. However, there are 2 scenarios where it could be of use to me, but these scenarios have to play out, if that makes sense. But from my experience, it doesn't seem that that's the case. So let's talk about it. So first scenario that I could see it happening is if I'm applying to a business entry-level position that requires a degree, right? Then I could see it being of some use. And the second scenario is if I get a job that doesn't require any sort of business degree, right? And I get the job, but then I work up to a position that requires a business degree. Well, I already have that, and so then that makes it of use, right? But from my experience, that doesn't seem to be the case, because what's happening with a lot of these entry-level positions is that the requirements are very rigorous and don't make much sense to me, to be honest. So I have a lot of experience for a lot of the digital marketing positions that I've been applying for. And the reason I've been applying for marketing is because that's my strong suit and that's where I have the most experience. And any sort of business degree will get you kind of in line, whether it's marketing, finance, or management, just because they are so similar and this material you learn is so similar across the board. So I've been applying for a lot of digital marketing positions, right? And I have a lot of experience for them. It's entry level and all this stuff, right? But they want you to have this experience that you can only get at this job, right? So I have a lot of the requirements already nailed, but then they'll have like, we want you to use these certain systems. It's like this, and that. And it's like, wait, hold on. Isn't this an entry-level position? Like, isn't this to get me to be familiarized with these things? And it's like, well, how do I get familiarized with these if I can't get an entry-level position? Do you guys get kind of what I'm saying? So that's been part of my experience. Another part of my experience has been that jobs that don't require a degree aren't even in line with like the degree that you have. So then it's like, if you move up in the position, it's like, okay, well, I didn't need the specific business degree then, you know what I mean? So it's very interesting. So I don't know if I answered that correctly, or I don't know. Yeah, that's just been my experience, and it's been kind of, I don't know,
rough, I guess you could say, or just kind of like, wow, you know, I thought that when you got a degree, you know, it was gonna kind of help you out with a career path, but it is what it is. And that's it for the Q&A. I hope you guys like that. I enjoy when you guys ask questions. It helps me to tell you guys a little bit more about myself and my perspective and get to understand what kind of questions you guys like asking and tell me a little bit about yourself through the questions you ask. But that is going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys liked today's video. If you guys did, be sure to give it a like. For any of you guys that are new here, do not forget to press that subscribe button because you guys know I will be back. And as always, die trying to do to love. The sky's the limit. I'll see you all in the next one.